Hi KidZone, I'm Mr. Tom, and today we're going to talk about
Easter!
Hi KidZone, I'm Mr. Tom, and today we're going to talk about
Easter!
Hi KidZone, I'm Mr. Tom, and today we're going to talk about Easter. We're going to go to some of our kids and we're going to ask them the question, what is your favorite part about Easter?
We get to look for the eggs.
Anything else?
That we all get to look for the eggs.
Spending the time with our family and doing all sorts of fun stuff. Yeah.
Candy.
Yeah.
I love the candy.
And now, a harder question. What's the real meaning behind Easter?
Jesus?
What about Jesus?
That he died on the cross. That he rose again.
Remembering Jesus that died on the cross and that he rose again.
One of the sad things about life is that you can't talk about what Easter really means without talking about sin. Every person on earth, man, woman, and child, sins. That's not a word that's used too much outside the church, so you might not know what it means. It is one of those words that's hard to describe. There are well-educated people who can give you long, complex answers to the question, what is sin? But today, all you really need to know is that sin is something that you do that separates you from God. Disobeying your parents, hitting your brother or sister, stealing, lying, being mean and nasty and cruel, those are all sins, and they keep us from God. Now back in the beginning, the world was perfect. There was God and Adam and Eve, and they lived in paradise together. And God gave them one rule. Don't eat the fruit of the tree of good and evil. Only that one rule. But the consequence, what would happen if they broke the rule, was really big. They would die. Eventually, Adam and Eve sinned. They disobeyed God. They ate the fruit they were not supposed to eat, so they were sent away from paradise, from that perfect place, away from God. And they died, eventually. You see, that's the price of sin, death. Years passed, people were mean to each other, but God had a plan to make things right between Him and us. He sent Jesus to earth to save us from our sins and to beat death forever. You see, the price of sin is death, but one perfect life, one sinless life, could pay the price for sin for all of us. So now here's what happened. One day, about 2,000 years ago, they arrested Jesus. They put him on trial, they hung him on a cross, and then they stabbed him with a spear. And he died. He died willingly, without sin. And the sky turned black, and the earth shook. And the curtain in the temple separating the holy place from the most holy place was torn in two. And they put his body, the body of the Son of God, in a tomb in the ground for 3 days. Imagine you were his friends in those days, his followers. Those were dark days, sad days, cold days. Days without hope. Days when you don't want to get out of bed when you wake up in the morning. Because why bother? But then, on Sunday, something happened. He rose. You see, death could not hold him, could not keep him down. Death could never beat Jesus. Jesus beat death. And he presents to us a gift, the opportunity to be made right with God. All we need to do is admit that we sinned, admit that Jesus died to save us from our sin, and accept the gift of forgiveness that Jesus is offering. That's it. That's the step it takes to start on this journey we call Christianity. And that is what Easter is really about Jesus, God's Son, living a perfect life and dying to save us from our sins so that we can be with Him and God forever in heaven. That's a pretty amazing gift.